Welcome back. We are playing The Descent into Avernus. I think I may have been calling it the wrong name. We are also hearing the wonderful sounds from Sirenscape. And the sounds that you're hearing right now is the entry to Candlekeep, which is where we are. So, over the past 4 days, the weather on the coastway has gradually worsened. Dark clouds released heavy rain until the roads run thick with mud, yet you trudge on, passing by friendly merchant caravans heading north. One of them being not so friendly, but that was dealt with. On the morning of the 5th day, the rain subsides, but the dark clouds remain. Ahead, you see a path branch from the wider road, heading towards the sea. A raven perches solemnly on a leaning post, bearing 2 signs that point like arms towards the west. One says the way of the lion. The other says Candlekeep.
Well, it's got to be the way of the lion, doesn't it?
This is where everything goes off the rails.
No. We've got the book to take to Candlekeep, haven't
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
So here is where I can show you the illustration of Candlekeep.
Ooh, pretty.
Oh, very nice.
I think that's the candle at the top.
Yes.
Ooh.
So it's quite enormous.
Very shiny.
Yeah.
And it stands on its own.
Yes. It's on a isthmus, and yes. So there's huge walls and one gate into and out of it.
Right. Well, let's head to the one gate.
All right. The afternoon sun shines through the clouds to illuminate the grey walls and pale spires of a time-worn fortress that stands majestically atop a rocky promontory overlooking the sea. The trail leads straight into it. At the gatehouse, you are greeted by 3 monks in purple robes, a human, a shield dwarf, and a sun elf. Around their necks hang the holy symbols of Denia, the god of writing, whose symbol is a lit candle above an open eye. "Welcome to Candlekeep," says the elfin common. "A gift is required for those seeking admittance. You must donate a book or a scroll that isn't already in the library's archives. Please present your gift for inspection."
The only thing we have is the prophecy.
I mean,
We've got the other 3 spell
we've got
books.
spell
We've got the 3 spell books.
Yeah.
Should we choose one of the random spell books to give, or would
Yes.
I
Yeah.
hand a random spell book?
Thank you. Your donation to the library is accepted. Please come through.
Sounds good.
Do we snicker?
Lame.
I think we should snicker.
Why?
No, we won't
Just
snicker.
a, just a light chuckle.
Yes. Or just, job well done not having to give up the book.
The book.
Our hoardings
Well
have
remembered
paid.
on.
Our hoardings
Yeah.
have paid off.
Yeah.
Seeing you ruffling through the bag of holding. Where is it?
So they let you inside, but other than that, they leave you to your own devices. A wide road sort of stretches up into the keep itself and starts to sort of cut back and forth as the ground gets steeper and steeper.
Before we go, can I ask the guards? Lodgings, do you have any recommendations for weary
Yes.
travellers?
I would highly recommend the Hearth. It is the main source of lodging here in Candlekeep.
And also, do you have any? If I were to get some special inks because I enjoy writing my adventures, can you suggest anywhere to go for that?
Oh yes, I am certain that we would be able to provide that for you. The market would be an excellent place for such things.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions before we head off?
No, I'm good.
Alright. And sorry, where was the direction to the Hearth?
Just up the hill and the first street on your left.
Half or the library?
The house.
Should we?
Half first.
No, I think
Well,
library.
Do we dump
We don't
all
need
our?
to rest.
Do we dump all our stuff though, and we can actually walk around?
Because we've got horses and...
You've got horses, they can be stabled.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Yeah.
So we'll stable all things and drop our stuff off before entering the library, is
Yeah.
that the...
And also, I quickly duck out and change my short sword for a rapier.
We could say that magically happened back in...
On the road.
Where
It's a rapier.
It's the same
Maybe that was the sword
They're
that the puncher
fun.
wanted. It was like Noel's sword, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Good. Alright, the Hearth has its own soundscape. The pub has a low ceiling supported by massive wooden crossbeams and narrow shuttered windows. A large fire pit in the middle of the room is surrounded by half-dozen tables and matching benches. There is, it's in the evening, so you know there's maybe 15, 20 people in the bar, and the only one that really sort of stands out is an enormous ogre who is sitting there in the back of the bar in a corner reading a book entitled The Sum of Theology by Saint Vithra.
Seems like a classy gentleman.
Seems like an NPC companion.
Is he like sipping on whiskey?
He's sipping on a wine.
NPC companion.
He's sipping on a wine, and you notice that he has a rather gorgeously crafted headband.
I think we should talk.
Yeah, well, I'd like. Where's he seated?
In the corner, there's some seats around him.
I'm gonna get an ale. Would anybody like an
I would love an ale.
Sounds great. Yes, please.
Alright, walk up to the bar, find myself a person.
Hmm.
Hi, I would like 4 ales, please.
Oh yes. Would you like me to bring them to your table?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Very good. So you give him 4 copper or
Yep.
something like that,
Great done.
and you make your way over to the
ogre.
ogre.
We can't even afford ale. You realise that? We've got nothing.
You're welcome.
No,
You're a bunch of mooches.
I can cut a little slither off my armour.
I would not.
No.
Mhm.
Good. You sit down next to him.
With our ales.
He blows his book and company.
Hello.
Greetings.
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 What brings you to this tavern?
Are you an artificer by trade?
I am.
Never met one. How
It's nice
nice.
to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Please tell me about what it is you do.
I'm a warlock.
So
Yes, I'll get you.
I make lots of cool things.
We're with her.
I work click.
Oh, my goodness. There it moves. It's very funny.
Give him a kiss.
Yes,
Not
yes.
the spittle. Not the spittle.
Oh, right, good. Wow, I'm very interested in your. I've never seen an artificer before here.
We are travelling on some. We've got some important business that we're doing. Yeah.
Are you
Life world-saving.
Hypothetically,
are you here to see Silvera?
is Raya with us?
Yeah, Rhea nudges you and sort of says,
Oh yes, we are.
"Oh, good. Well, I do hope you find your whatever it is you're looking for here.
Thank you very much. And where can we find her, please?
You will find her up in the main keep.
And what brings you here?
Where is?
He's got a long backstory.
Yes, please tell them that little one sent you.
I will. I'll be sure to. Thank you very much.
What brings me here? Well, I must admit, my the childhood was very similar to what you would expect from an ogre family. I was obviously beating people up and stealing them and usually eating them, I'm afraid, at the same time. And one day,
Multitasker. Yes.
one day I met a halfling with a golden headband, and of course I beat him to a pulp, and for some reason decided to study the headband, and it caught my eye, and I put it on and was instantly transformed into the intellect you see before you.
Oh, and
He's got a headband of intelligence.
and you spend
He's got like
and
a +5 to intelligence.
you spend the rest of your life making amends for your transgression.
Well, I certainly did feel compelled to learn the error of my ways and seek out a better life. I changed my name in honour of the poor halfling whose life I cut short.
What was the halfling's name?
I don't know. I call him Little One, and that's why.
Your ironic name of Little.
Yes. I did find it difficult to integrate into society, no matter how smart one is. One cannot change one's history.
As a blue-skinned tiefling warlock, I completely understand.
I do imagine you are a warlock. Interesting. Yes. Candlekeep has a small school of warlocks.
Where are they located?
Oh, yes, they are.
Just
they
follow
are.
the Eldritch Blast.
Just following the sound of the Eldritch Blast.
Yes.
And you are follower
paladin.
of Lathander.
I am in fact a follower of Lathander, that is correct.
Interesting.
I was born into his service.
I see. And that is an impressive suit of armor and an interesting shield.
Why, yes, an artifact that we have uncovered on our quest to help free this area of the demons that have hold of it.
Right. Yeah, fix up his-
It seems that you're reading a book on theology.
Oh, yes. I generally make it through one book a night. Yeah.
It's quite a feat.
I'm planning on
reading.
I'm planning on writing my own pretty soon.
Oh. Have you heard of a deity called Gargoth?
Gargoth. Does not ring a bell. No.
Celestial entity, I believe.
Oh, well, that may change things. I believe I remember a story about some sort of fallen angel or something like that. That involved
Fallen angel.
Gargoth, or perhaps an imprisoned angel. That sounds right.
An imprisoned angel. Imprisoned for what? Do you
I don't
recall?
recall. Would you leave it with me and I'll do some research?
Absolutely, or if you could, I would very much appreciate it. I feel this shield is somewhat tied to a celestial being, and I would like to learn more about its origins.
Yeah, right.
And imprisoned by whom, do you know?
I don't recall. I shall do a bit more investigation.
Thank you.
You hear a voice in your head checking up on me.
I can't talk out loud to you, it's weird.
Ask me any questions, I'll tell you what you want to know.
I'll leave that for later then. So do you take residence here and keep in order to study the books in the great library?
I find that this is the only place where I am permitted to walk about freely without harassment. It's still, there are some who believe the prejudices of the race are foisted on the individual. But here at least I have found some modicum of peace and acceptance.
Oh, I'm glad that you found some peace here. It is unfair that people should not allow you to renew yourself.
I understand their fear. I only wish to maybe break the cycle.
Being the bigger man, little one.
I see that you did a joke there.
Oh,
And you just sort of go,
Hey, take more legend.
yes. Force damage, 10 feet away now. My ale's just gone.
Well, it has been a pleasure to meet you, all of you. Especially
Thank you very much.
Oh, look at you.
Well, shall we make our way to the keep?
Perhaps we can speak again another night if you hear any more about Gargoth or his origins. I'd be very keen to learn.
I am here every night with a book.
Before we go, have there been any disruptions around the city?
Oh, should we show them?
No.
Everything's been relatively peaceful?
Relatively peaceful. We have the odd spell misfiring and those sorts of things. But
Oh,
See if he knows anything.
that doesn't seem so bad.
Also, we have a book. Perhaps we could ask little one about.
We haven't actually perused it at all.
Yeah, we
It occurs to
found
me.
this book. It doesn't seem to be anything special, but it.
What was it called?
I see your obsession.
Apocalypto.
Oh, nice,
Yes.
catchy
I'm
title.
not getting anything from that. No connotations. It's fine.
I've not read this book. Would you care to lend it to me?
I might maybe just have a quick look, but we'll need it back before we leave. But I take it out, hand it over.
He throws the book of theology behind him and
Into the fire with you.
immediately starts pouring through the book.
Great, we have a research assistant.
Yeah.
Always wanted one of
An
those.
ogre research assistant.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
irony, the irony.
With a band of intelligence.
Research assistants are practically hostages. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Hostage of
Yeah.
the mind. And literally a hostage, apparently, in her shield.
Yeah.
So Sophia's just eyeing her ale while he reads the book and just waiting patiently and quite distracted by the ale.
Have we booked rooms?
Okay.
No, we haven't. I was
do we
going
want
to do
rooms?
that. Yeah.
It is towards the end of the day.
Yeah, let's book rooms and maybe go to the library in the morning.
Sounds good.
I might have a conversation with my shield.
Would you like a private time? Would you like a room to
Would you
Yeah,
like
I
some
wanna
private
hang out
time
with
with your
my
shield?
Just like, take all the plate mail off and
Yeah.
Just
Me
you,
and-
start blinking at it.
you and your shield in the bar.
Yeah. Give it the polish. Tell me all about yourself.
You come here often.
Imprisoned, eh?
All right. You get rooms. That's all fairly good. And
We borrow the cash.
you're talking to the shield.
Yes.
Afraid to speak to me in public?
Well, it just seems a bit odd talking out loud to nothing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Might be a little strange to others, don't you think?
I don't like you seeking to find out information about me behind my back. I'm certainly an open
Behind
shield.
your back, I was right in front of you at the time.
Yes, well, we are inextricably linked now, so I would.
Well, you must understand why I might ask some queries, to get some other information that's not just from your own perspective.
I
This isn't
appreciate-
a mistrust, it's simply, due diligence.
Trust but verify. I understand. But please, in future, come to me first.
I'm afraid I haven't had any time. It's been a very busy.
Let me book you in.
Yes.
We've scheduled some time now.
Well, do tell me, where are you from? It sounds as though, are you imprisoned in this shield? How are we communicating? What does our bond look like?
Well, certainly I'm not entirely sure where I am. I'm unable to get a sense of time or space or even if there is anybody else here with me. I can only communicate with people holding the shield who have bonded with it.
And how did you find yourself in this no place?
I don't recall what evidence led up to this. I do know that I do know that my fate is somehow linked to Avernus. I feel like if I could go there, or if somebody could take me there, I would learn more.
So you have no memories of your prior life?
I have snippets. I do remember being on Avernus and travelling through it. Somebody was with me. I feel that's all I can remember until I go there.
Was it another celestial creature, or was it a?
Yes, I believe I remember them being of noble bearing, and I don't believe I was their possession. I think I was their companion.
And yourself? Do you remember much of yourself, your own role within the celestial order? As you may have heard, I am, of course, at service to Lathander.
Yes, I remember nothing of what I was doing. Presumably, if I was travelling through Avernus, I was on some mighty crusade.
I see.
That's it. We must go there. We must to uncover my past and bring me back my memory. We'll need to be in Avernus.
I see. Well, at the moment, as you may have noticed, we are held up in some other quest.
Well, perhaps this Silvera person can help us get there.
Yes, perhaps. We'll find out. Well, in that case, given your lack of memory of, I think that having little one do some research on our behalf may be of use to you as well. You may perhaps be able to uncover more of your history and why you are entrapped as you are.
I agree.
Excellent. We have the cord. It's good because you're on my arm.
Sorry.
But your left arm, not your right, not your strong
No,
right.
you're right. My strong right arm.
Unless you left hand.
No.
Oh.
No.
Alright.
Decided that then. I just assume she's right.
Sleep?
Yes, a long rest.
Alright.
That's it there. Birdie.
And like you notice, you pick it up, and it appears that some of the filigree at the top of the shield was different to what it was before. It's not moving as you look at it, but you just pick it up and it looks just a tiny bit different. Like so little that you would almost not notice.
Awesome.
All right.
How much do we know about your communication with this thing and the shield changing and stuff? Like,
I
have
think-
you let us know into
I
this
think
weirdness?
over breakfast I'll kind of,
Okay.
because like we haven't really had a chance, and
Yep.
mostly the
Brace
conversation
for
has just
anything.
been hello, oh hi there,
Yeah.
shield.
Otherwise, it's a little bit like Sophia the First talking to all her animals because she's got that amulet, and we're all like, "What?" Sorry, that might be.
Too close to home.
Yeah.
I still love you, Click.
That's right.
I've got to find something to talk to.
You shall be my pet rock.
Pet rock.
So have a nap.
You wake up in the morning and break your fast. And do you divulge that
Yeah, I'll
where you're at?
yeah, I probably would have told the shield I told what's his name, Gargoth, that I was gonna let them all know, and I'll just tell them what I do know. As you're all aware, I have attuned myself with this shield we found, which seems to keep changing in its nature, its appearance, I'm not sure what that means.
Cool. Nothing strange here.
But also, there seems to be some, as Thavius said, there seems to be some celestial connection that it offers. Some, and as you heard Little Hand said, some imprisoned or entrapped celestial beings I seem to now be able to communicate with. So if you see me talking to myself,
You know,
I'm not.
Okay.
I had a chat
that's just
with.
what someone who was talking to themselves would say.
They call themselves Gargoth. And I had a conversation with them yesterday evening, and it appears that they feel they are not fully in touch with their memories of what happened to entrap them in such a way, but they do believe that if we make it to Avernus, then they will be able to somehow reclaim their memories and their true place in the celestial order.
Perhaps Sylvia can be of assistance.
I would hope so. It seems that there's many questions we have. I hope they can answer all of them.
That would be convenient.
Would that not be convenient?
I-
We
I-
are in a place of knowledge after all.
Yes, I would like to visit the Warlocks. Plural now, whatever it's called.
In the
college.
distance. Elders plural.
It is that way.
I'm on the lookout for the ogre, little one. Yep. He still has my book.
He does.
Easy to spot.
He's in his spot.
Good point.
But no, he's not in the bar this morning.
He only hangs out in the evenings during reading, so we'll fetch it this evening.
I'd like to pick up some stuff too, please.
Okay, you go to the market.
Is it safe to presume that he's staying inside the hearth somewhere?
No, he probably stays somewhere else.
Okay.
You enter the market.
Yes, I would like to please find a magic book and some magic ink, because I would like to try and start making some of my first level spells into ritual spells.
Excellent. Okay. Very high quality book will set you back anywhere between 10 and 30 gold.
Alright, that's fine. And also, if I'm looking at ink and things to do the different cast of spells, it's about 50 gold per spell per level. So I've got two level 1 spells, I'll be 100 gold.
Okay.
Just to give you the heads up. So,
Alright. Well, they'll do a deal with you for 2 bottles of ink and 2 quills, the book, all for 30 gold.
fantastic. I'm just happy to
Pay that.
pay that and just go across.
Alright.
Yep. And then I get all the other components and stuff I would need. Because it kind of goes through, like, you have to obviously keep trying until you perfect it. So it's kind of like the consumables that you would normally use until it becomes a ritual.
Okay. And how long does that take you, that process?
I believe it'll take me think it did say beforehand how long it will take me. I think,
Alright.
I think it's like an hour per spell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Excellent.
Yep.
Interesting. All right. That's cool.
Do you want me to go to the Warlock College during that, or when after we go to?
Oh, you can go before or after?
Oh well, I think while Om's at the market, I can go to the Warlock College.
Yes, sure. All right. So there's a human at the front sort of reception area, and says, "Welcome. How can I help you?"
I am a warlock. I give the Eldritch handshake. No, it's oh wow, you are a warlock. Hello. Oh, I haven't met many of my kind. My father was a warlock, and he's trained me. So
I see. You have an amazing skin color.
yes, from my father, and he's taught me very little, and my patron too has not divulged much at all.
I see. I am patron to the old one.
I have the Archfey,
I see. Yes. Okay.
although I think that he is maybe playing tricks on me, but I think he's quite puckish.
Well,
Yes.
who can necessarily know what one's patron
Indeed.
thinks?
Indeed. Ours is not to question why. Ours is not to do and keep doing.
Let's not finish that sentence. Yeah. All right. Well, is there any assistance that I can provide you in the city today?
We have a book that we would like researched, and we think is Silvira up in the keep will aid us in trying to defeat a great evil. that
Well,
seems
she
to
would be
have-
the person to ask. Definitely. Yes. Do you need directions to the keep?
No, I think we'll follow our nose up. And has there been any stories of adventurers returning from fell beasts or
We heard about Eltruel, and there was a number of our chapter who were in the city at the time. So I am very fearful of their.
we heard about the great cavalry charge of Seville?
Yes, many years ago. But that was a great loss to lose Zariel to the enemy. My only suggestion, my only fear is that our two companions, Thonar and Chond,
Yes.
are lost to us forever.
When were they last heard from?
Well, they departed here to go and study in Eltruel. They were writing some books on the companion, and they never returned. If you do see them on the road, please
What do
please
they
let
look
us
like?
know. They are a human and an elf, and
I'm obviously used to being distinctive, so perhaps they may not be so obvious.
but perhaps yes. Both of them have the robes that we wear here in the library.
Purple. Right. Thank you. I will keep an eye out and send word.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
No. I make my way back to the
All right. Do you head up to the keep?
Once we're all back together?
So
Yeah.
why not? Yeah.
The walls of this circular tower chamber are punctuated by arched windows that are currently shuttered. Bookcases filled with eldritch volumes stand between the windows, while tables are crowded with specimen jars, alchemical equipment, and other clutter. Engraved into the floor of the chamber is a large, nine-pointed star. A middle-aged tiefling, dressed in wizardly robes, stands by one of the windows, caught in a fugue of intense contemplation. Perched on the corner of a table nearby is a spindly little demon with warty green skin, buggy eyes, thin black horns, and a whip-like tail. The tiefling turns to you and says, "I can't tell you how pleased I am to see you. What have you brought me?"
I mean, nothing. The ogre still has my book. This is why I didn't want to.
We have come seeking knowledge.
Ah,
Oh wait, we have a shield.
Yeah.
knowledge about what?
Several things, and we may have to make a return trip when we have one of our items, which has been perused by
Have
the
you seen an
companion.
ogre?
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
know. You're speaking of little one.
Yes. Is he here now?
No,
No,
he's
didn't think so.
one part of the library or another,
Mm.
doing his rounds.
Good, never mind.
Have you seen him today?
Not yet.
But he's here, in the library.
Well, this is my personal space,
Oh.
but there are many libraries on the mountain.
Right, of course. Damn it.
Amazing. We have a book that we will share with you at a later time.
Okay.
But also, I have found this shield.
Ah, may you rest it on the table, please?
Why, of course.
She looks down at it, and the little fiend, the little imp, comes over and it starts tapping its tail on the shield, and kind of scratching away at it. And she sort of shoos it away, and it crawls up her shoulder and sort of sits perched on her shoulder, clinging to her hair. It seems like it's a fairly familiar position.
Oh, sorry, I think familiar.
She looks at it and sort of casts her hand over the top of it, and her face becomes very serious and attentive, and she says, "I know this shield. The shield is a symbol of good's triumph over evil. Gazing at such beauty, one can easily overlook the terrible force bound within it.
Terrible, you say?
Gargulf,
Goggle.
its name is."
Yes, so it has told me.
It
Although-
can hear you right now.
Yes, it can.
Mhm.
As far as I can tell, it can hear.
But you can't do anything, can you, my dear friend? Garguth was a pit fiend sent by Asmodeus to corrupt mortals on the material plane. And whilst there, it amassed such a following as to rival that of the gods. In that way, Garguth became a sort of a demigod, didn't you, little boy? And having worshippers increased its power exponentially. My, how the mighty have fallen.
So I should be wary of this creature and the
So-
things that he says.
Oh yes, I would not expect anything to come out of it to be the truth. What has it told you?
It has not said much. It claims that it has no memories of its time before its entrapment, and it has suggested, but not said outright, that it is in some sense a celestial being that has been entrapped by some evil doing. Clearly that is not the case if I...
Lies! Lies!
So when Duke Van Thampur said that the thing in the room lied, she was...
Well, I mean,
talking of the
Krieg,
Well,
Krieg
she-
did have the shadow of an imp, so it's...
I think
There
everyone
were
I think
lies-
everything's
there were-
even related
There were
as a lie.
lies within lies within lies.
the lie patchwork.
So how wary should I be of this shield? For it does bequeath me quite a bit of power.
It has the power to corrupt everything around it. The Hoon family of Baldur's Gate has kept it for many years now. Doubtless they'll want it back. But this shield should not be taken to any place where thousands of mortals reside. It needs to be locked away, perhaps in an extra-dimensional space, away from corruptible souls. I would suggest that you leave it here with me.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not sure I can do that.
Can't do that.
Well, so there's two things here. Firstly, I really like having fireballs.
Yeah.
Yes, and a shield you don't trust.
Like the corruption has begun.
Yes, we saw her talking to it. We saw her talking to it.
You hear a voice in your head that says, "Take me to the Nine Hells, and I swear I shall serve you faithfully as both a guide and advisor."
Well, I'm not going to believe you now. Turns out you were lying to me.
No, this offer is genuine. I beg you.
So
I
she
cannot
does
do
this.
anything.
Like, we can hear.
Yeah, we could all...
She just does this sometimes. Just ignore her.
I'll just repeat what it's saying to the room. I'm aware of the duplicity of demons. I'm well trained in it, and I'm sure that I can... we can always put it into the bag of holding. There's an extra dimensional spell.
Absolutely.
That's
If
true.
we need to. In the meantime, see how we go.
Are you
I
asking
think
us to
that
keep
there
an
might
eye on
be-
on you to make sure you remain uncorrupted?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
If any of my actions seem to be in doubt, please feel free to question me.
The Hoon family.
In what way, sorry, just to clarify, in what way does it corrupt mortals around it?
Well, it has a silvered tongue and can certainly give you advice that will lead you down a certain path, shall we say.
Mm-hmm. So if I plug my ears, it's pretty much powerless.
I'm afraid it speaks to you in other ways than your ears.
Dang.
But if you are determined to take it with you, it probably does have quite a great deal of knowledge about what exists in Elturel, in Avernus, and
And it seems that it's in a bind in the sense that, as you've said, it's helpless now, and ultimately it will have to win me over if it would ever like to regain its freedom.
Can it even get its freedom?
on this plane, no.
Do you know in which plane specifically it will?
In hell, there is
Oh.
certainly a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why it wants to, us
Wants
to
to
take
go
it.
to hell.
That's right.
Well,
Take
it
me
can
to
go to
hell.
hell.
So why are you here? Why have you brought this thing to me?
Well, we also have a book, but at the moment the ogre's looking at it.
Yeah,
Oh.
Sophia's just like fidgeting, looking for that damn ogre. It's so hard right now.
Do we want to drop the title, like a mic drop, and see whether...
Yeah,
Elvira-
the book's called Apocalypto, and it had some kind of prophecy about the end of the universe.
Okay, I have heard of this. Initial reports are that it's not true, but I've never read the book myself. I don't believe there is a copy of it here. So
Well, you can assist.
Yeah, that's it. Sophia storms out of the room looking for the ogre.
okay, right.
And you will break the library rules.
Off you go.
Run around
Yeah, like
libraries
I
going,
just run into every library I can find looking for a big ogre.
Yeah, I mean, he'd
Sorry.
be pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
When
Yep. Like, if you don't want to split the party, I won't. And
So
I
we know that
apologize.
he's going to be at the tavern in the evening.
He did say he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, reading the book, so we can get it back.
And if
from
he's
him
not
then.
there tonight, then he's pretty suspicious.
Mhm.
But please tell me how you came by this shield.
That's what my question about the Hoon family. How recently have you heard of the Hoon family? Because it certainly was not in their possession.
My understanding, it was in a crypt underneath their estate.
Van Thampur family?
No, the Hoons.
Have we heard of the Hoons from Baldur's Gate?
Yes, you've heard of them in passing. They're one of the more prominent
Right,
families.
right, right.
Mhm.
Oh, well, that's certainly not how we came by it. It was part of a negotiation for service.
I see. And who
Or
had
do
it?
I? So we have arrived here from Baldur's Gate. I'm not sure if you're aware. I'm sure that you're aware of what's happened in Elturel.
Yes.
Well, in Baldur's Gate, we were dealing with some of the chaos that has ensued as members of the
Flaming Fist.
Flaming Fists. It starts with an F. It has fists in it. As members of the Flaming Fists, when we uncovered quite a den of cultists living beneath the city.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out that the Van Thampur family,
Yes.
the Duke, that she had been amassing to herself a great deal of power and causing quite a bit of chaos by involving herself in the blood wars and aligning herself with some of the demons and pit lords who might assure her a full grasp on the city.
Oh, yes. I
Are you
see.
following?
And she was in possession of the shield?
It appeared so. We were beneath her villa in some dungeons where some cultists were practicing their dark arts. When we came upon her, luckily we had a devious plan where we had already captured her her children and were able to coerce her into telling us more of what was happening. And we eventually uncovered this shield with, do you recall Thavius, who was... Thavius at the time, I think, was attempting to redeem himself by somehow bargaining with this celestial creature, or rather, fiendish creature in order to perhaps restore himself from the failures at Eltriel. I'm guessing.
I have been suspicious of the High Overseer of Elturel for some time.
I see.
No one wanted to hear my concerns because Fabius Krieg is highly regarded as a hero who saved his city from an undead scourge, giving rise to the holy nation of Eltragard. And you can kind of see Rhea bristling a little bit.
He was about to say, how's Rhea reacting to all this?
Hailed as a saviour, Fabius made all citizens of Elturel swear an oath called the Creed Resolute, which binds them to defend the nation of Eltragard. And you can sort of hear Rhea say, I swore that oath. I met Fabius years ago, and my instincts told me he was a charlatan. Afterwards, I grew to suspect that he had cut a deal with one or more of the powerful devils, using the Creed Resolute to bind Elturel to his dark deal. The blood kind of drains from Rhea's face as she realizes that she may have been working for a demon in the past. She takes a seat. And she says, I believe that a great magic item was sacrificed or used in the destruction of Elturel, but it is not destroyed. It has been sucked into the Nine Hells. It has been captured, an entire city captured. But a powerful device must have been used or sacrificed in order to get it there. A powerful device not unlike this one. I think perhaps that whatever fate has befallen Elturel is also what was planned for Baldur's Gate until you came along and stopped it.
You are on the mark.
It's a wise woman. She knows a lot. So do you believe it was in fact this shield that was used as the source to take Elturel to the Nine Hells?
No, that was something else.
It was something else,
I
but
think
of the
this
same
was
kind of
Baldur's
rarity as this shield.
Yes, and I believe it would have been consumed in the process. It would have been destroyed.
Do you know who is capable of doing this kind of magic? Or this kind of
Or would have had possession of such an item?
I do not.
Do you know anyone who
And
would?
that is an excellent question. Sorry?
Do you have any leads to anyone who would have more information?
I think your information needs to come from Elturel itself.
Okay.
So we do need to go to the Nine Hells.
Then we must go.
We might need to get another shield.
Expensive.
Yeah, like
Plus two
So
shield.
one way ticket.
not one that's as good as this, but I can get it.
Well, maybe you'd keep the shield.
Well, I just think once we enter the Nine Hells, I might not be able to walk around carrying the shield.
I'm kind of tempted.
We can put it. We can always put
See
it in
what
the
happens.
bag.
Well,
In
we'd
the bag
have a
of.
guide.
It's the beans.
I mean, you're
all
pretty
over
tanky.
again.
You'll become slightly less tanky, but not that much less tanky.
Do you have any suggestions of
Maybe
things that
AC
will aid us in our endeavours?
Yes,
20's okay.
I have a map.
Ooh.
Excuse me, and she starts to rifle through books and push things off, and her little fiend familiar starts flitting around, and then it sort of twitters and yops, and she goes over to it and pulls a map off, and she says, "This map might not be entirely reliable. The creator went mad making it."
Huh.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, it's some
Pretty.
I'll put it up on the
Those
screen
sort of
for the
stuff.
people to use
So
it.
it's otherwise upside down for you.
Yes.
Ooh.
And any
The river's
equipment that
still-
we should be taking with us?
That's the other side. But... Wow.
Yes. Well, we don't get to see the other side
Avernus.
yet.
Yes.
Oh, we haven't seen that.
Well,
Right?
well, we
No.
should have shown.
No, that's a different map.
How
So
very
this
cool.
is the river.
So, I would like to ask though, is there any way that if we take the shield to the Nine Hells that we could cast some kind of binding or some ritual to make sure that whatever's in there stays in there? Or should we just not take it
Let
with
the
us?
others see it.
I shall leave that decision to you,
Damn it.
but certainly
Rats in this library.
You can leave the shield with me, and I will take care of it. I think Golgath is correct in saying that he knows a lot about Avernus. I do. And
He agrees with you.
I'm sure he would. I would feel a lot better if you left it here, but obviously an item like this could be used to great effect.
I think we'll have to take the risk for now.
How do we get into Avernus?
I can take you there. It will... there is a wizard named Traxagor who lives in a tower 20 miles from here. I've loaned him the odd spell book, and he owes me a favour. I can have you safely delivered to his tower, and he can use a plane shift spell to take you straight to Elturel. Even more importantly, Traxagor is looking after an old friend of mine, someone with a history of battling devils in the Nine Hells. I think you'll enjoy meeting her very much. Her name is Lulu.
Aw, Lulu.
Traxagor.
Great name for a hostage.
A companion.
Same thing.
Is there anything that we need to organise for us beforehand?
Suggestions on what we
Any
should bring with us?
Yeah.
Mm.
Equipment.
Um,
Anything that.
Prison fiends. Check.
Yeah. Done.
Certainly my library is open to you to discover anything that you might need to know.
Has Sophia found little one?
Yes, you come across
Oh, good.
the ogre.
Give me my book.
I'm reading it.
Yes, that's...
Almost finished.
Alright, well, time is over. Did you get any insights out of that? I do need it back now. I need to present it to the
Silvara.
That one.
Silvira, it's fascinatingly well written. It's in poem. It's poetry form.
Really?
And it's all about kind of the end of everything, and I don't know that there's a lot of truth to it. Maybe that there is, but it's many thousands of years away if its predictions would come true.
Alright, well, that's some comfort. Thank you very much. I hope it was a thumping good read. Thank
That's
you.
back to you.
I storm back off to meet the others. Just run up. Book!
We'll see you tonight. Maybe not.
So, yes. She says, I'm absolutely, my library doors are open to you in all but the most secretive tomes, the ones we don't share with just anybody.
We assuage her with Apocalypto rather than the shield.
Sorry?
Can we show her the book as
We
well?
show her the book when Sophia gets back.
Yes. Yes. She says, oh, thank you. Would you like to donate it to the library?
I tell you what, if we do, can we peruse some of these more sacred tomes you just mentioned?
No, we don't let anybody
that's a
without
shame.
training read them.
Yeah, in that case I won't. Thanks though.
I'd really like that book, though.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Well, little one has a photographic memory, so maybe we can just get him to write it out.
He's except for the last few pages, which we'll never know.
Yeah. You have an
It's like the
incomplete
ending.
copy. Yeah, you have a fragmentary copy. We have the real one.
In earnest, we could use some assistance. We could have the book if it really helps. But some advice, something would be appreciated in return for it.
Well, I can certainly tell you as much as we can, as much as the library can, about the Nine Hells. So she gives you all of the information in Chapter 2 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. So if you want to use D&D Beyond to take a look at the Dungeon Master's Guide,
On the Nine Hells.
on the Nine Hells.
Cool. Have the book. Enjoy.
I think we'll just say we know everything about the Nine Hells, therefore.
Anytime we have to
Anytime
roll
we
for
have to
or
roll,
ask
we
a
know
question,
everything
you're
about
like,
the
you
Nine
know
Hells.
it because it's in the book.
Yeah.
Well, look, to be honest, it's not much fun learning about the Nine Hells. Here is what it says. The Nine Hells of Bartor inflame the imagination of travellers, the greed of treasure seekers, and the battle fury of all moral creatures. It is the ultimate plane of law and evil and the epitome of premeditated cruelty. The devils of the Nine Hells are bound to obey the laws of their superiors, but they rebel within their individual castes. most undertake any plot, no matter how foul, to advance themselves. At the very top of the hierarchy is Asmodeus, who is yet to be bested. If he were to be vanquished, the victor would rule the plane in turn. Such is the law of the Nine Hells.
Ooh, you reckon 4 fourth level characters could take Asmodeus? Or Asmodeus, or whichever
We just
way
have,
we
we
want
just
to
have to
pronounce
choose a game that we're good at.
Right, dealing with the devil.
it. Play chess, just like in the Seventh Seal.
I'll bring my fiddle.
In terms of the
I'm
map,
better at healing than you are.
We'll just take Jack Black with us and play guitar.
Done.
in terms of the map depicts a region of Avernus, a wasteland of dizzying proportions that has been warped by eons of demonic invasion. Travellers face a hellscape that disorients the senses and defies attempts to map it accurately. So standard cartographic methods are useless, since distances in Avernus sort of shift and change, and it might take you 1 day to travel somewhere and only 2 hours to walk back. As such, the map shows pictorial impressions of locations that only hint at their distances from one another. It is by no means something that can or should be taken literally. There's no scale on the map, obviously. The placement of locations is based on the memories of an intrepid yet insane cartographer. Distances and travel times between locations cannot be determined by studying the map and can change with each journey at your discretion. Your players should never feel like they understand Avernus geographically, providing an unsettling and disorienting feeling as they roam the hellscape.
This is really giving you a lot of free passes to do whatever you like.
And now you're there, and now you're further away from there.
That's right. You feel like you're going backwards.
Yeah.
So,
He's standing right beside you. You take a step. He's 5 meters away.
He's now 10 kilometers away.
Yeah.
You blink.
yeah. So, that is...
Thank you for
that
all
is
that
what you find out about
Great
Avernus
appreciated.
and the map. And I'm absolutely opening up that entire chapter of the Nine Hells in the DMG if you'd like to read it.
Thank you.
Well, do we go to Taxagor or whatever it is?
I wouldn't mind doing some perusing of the library while we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look mostly for information about this shield and Gaga from the blood war. Basically get a bit more of a footing on what's really happening. I assume the fact that I'm already kind of trained in deities and their orders that I'd have, because the hell's just a mirror of heaven. That I would probably grasp some of it relatively well. Sorry, what's the ISBN code for?
Let me get my tracker and then just like barcodes.
So what were you looking for?
I'm specifically looking for information around the blood war and also any kind of information around what kind of magic might have taken Elturel to this plane.
Yep.
And what could possibly end this. Like just trying to get enough footing in the situation to know what kind of actions we should be looking to take.
Let me just have a look here. So you find out a little bit more about Zariel, this archangel who led the charge into Avernus, and died at the hands of an incredibly powerful demon. They took the fight right to the Archdevil Bell and his infernal legions, and many of the warriors there fought bravely, but Zariel's army entered Avernus and did not return.
Right. Interesting.
Some fled, and they fled back through the portal, sealing it behind them, and never revealing their great shame in retreat. The Hell Riders, they were called, would wear this badge of shame to the grave.
Do I know anything about? Could I find out anything about what kind of magic it would take to both do and undo the movement of Elturel to this space? I'm not really an arcane person, but
Yeah, right.
Let
So
me assist you.
yeah. Maybe we can work together on this one.
Joint project.
Yeah.
I believe you've heard somewhere along the lines that Elturel is chained to Avernus above the river
A big
Styx.
chain, yeah.
So if you were managed to find some way,
That was fabulous.
Thavius, if you were to find some way to break those chains, that might be a way of freeing the city.
Can we research that?
Let's see. That's about as much information as you can glean, because
From a day of research.
more than that, it becomes very specific about Elturel's specific situation. So
Okay.
I would like to spend some time finding, I guess, the political figures or the people of hierarchy in the different levels. Because I'm sure that there's people who say, oh, blah, blah, blah's in charge of that. And I'm sure I've got a notepad somewhere and I'll just start writing notes about the political... So if we want to use it as a bargaining chip, we know who their superiors are.
you do come across a rather interesting tome that appears to be written by the same cartographer that made the map, who went mad. So trust that at your peril. But he sort of indicated that everything is set up to make you feel off kilter and unhappy or unpleasant about the whole place. Sometimes food will taste delicious and sometimes food will be ash in your mouth. Sometimes something that is sweet can be unbearably sweet and sometimes it can be unbearably sour. Selfish acts are rewarded and kind acts are punished in hell. And everything seems to be backwards there.
It's a GNS world. It's topsy-turvy.
We might leave the paladin behind.
Oh no!
She's the
But
tank.
I'm the one who
We
killed
push
the
her forward,
fiends.
He
You
says
want me
that
for the fight though.
in the distance you will see a oasis and a respite from the heat and the oppressive nature of the place. You'll get within 10 feet of it and it will disappear. Those sorts of things.
But do we know who's in charge of like the first level, second level, like that? Any of that information?
No, those the first level shifts all the time as the war rages on.
Or do we know how to like from the first level get to the second level? Like, does
We
that
can
have
talk
any
to
information?
Barros about it too.
Yeah.
About the different
Yeah.
lords and pit lords and demons and
Yeah.
such that are vying for power there.
It does seem like the further down you go, the more deadly everything becomes. And yes, given that Elturel is only on the first level, maybe it's safest to stick there.
Yep. Fair enough.
The cartographer, is he still around?
No, dead long ago.
Has anyone else been to the first level that is around here?
I have.
We have a shield who's spent some time there.
Of course it has.
Take me with you. I will teach you the ways of my home.
I'm considering it. I don't need your advice on this. Know that I think on it.
Happy to give it.
I am aware, and I'm asking
Your
you.
relationship with your shield seems to have changed somewhat.
Yeah, I'm not going to blink at it anymore. No more cleaning it lovingly.
No more polishing.
Yeah.
If I go to the Warlocks, can I ask them to summon me a familiar?
We're gonna summon an imp.
Absolutely. Is
You know what
this
that takes
a
to
thing
kill-
that you
to
can
summon
do?
an imp?
So it's a spell. It's a first level spell. It's not a spell I chose to take. But
Uh-huh.
my father had a blue weasel, modelled on the miniature,
Okay.
called Hino, as you recall from
That's right.
CanCon,
Yeah.
named by the audience at CanCon. So
What was it called again?
Hino.
High note.
So I'm wondering if I can go to them and sort of impress them to grant me that. If I make a pledge to find Thune and Thornall, Chond and Thornall,
We have a room for that.
a familiar room.
It's a familiar room. Yes, they bring you
Never
to
seen
a.
anything like it.
They too. Usher you into a room where.
Great. Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm now pledged to find out as much as I can about Thorwald and Chond. Thornell, not Thorvald.
Yeah.
Yes, High Note is a blue weasel, celestial weasel. Just quite shocking because he's celestial. But anyway, I'll get to the bottom of that strange conundrum at some point.
Are you looking to bring the spirit of High Note here, or
Well, since he's a celestial being that's summoned.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
can reappear.
Perhaps
So
sent by my father. I don't know.
so we will require something personal of your father that you have. Do you have anything of possession of his or something like that?
Just
Only my shield.
Oh.
I can't sacrifice my shield.
Oh, it
my,
won't be sacrificed.
It is
We
my,
just
it's my arcane focus. I can't give it up.
absolutely not. But your father owned this.
He did.
Excellent, and used it as a.
He did. He got it in the greatest combat of his life with using the use of a grease spell against a turtle that was a critical success and basically made the turtle slide out of his own shell.
Excellent.
And hence it became the shield of our family.
Perfect. Well, place it on the table in the middle of the room, please.
I do so.
As soon as you notice that there are
Our shield's like the centre of attention.
Yeah.
there's a carving around the circular carving around the center of the table, and you immediately feel the power of it as soon as you walk over its line, and you place the shield on this sort of stone table,
Mm-hmm.
and you notice that it doesn't touch the table. It
Right.
just
Yep.
a little bit above it. And then you are joined by more warlocks, and there is a lot of chanting, and somebody brings in a flute,
Right.
and a song is played, and there is a flash of light,
Mhm.
and the turtle shell goes and lands on the table.
I go and pick up.
A blue weasel is underneath it.
High Note. He crawls and hangs onto my hair.
That's right.
He's
He's,
like an infant.
and he starts to kind of nibble at your ear.
Nice.
A blue weasel.
A blue weasel,
Excellent.
as modelled.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, finding weasels in 56mm or 128 scale. Sorry, 156 scale, 28mm is tricky. But I did.
And what about the turtle shell? Did you?
So that is a D&D miniature. The turtle shell's from a Reaper Lizard Man mini who had turtle shell shield. So I cut the turtle shell shield off and put it on the D&D mini, and then it's a Reaper Familiars pack miniature. Is the weasel.
Excellent.
So little.
Cool. All right.
So I've now made my mini
You
in
have
roleplay. Yay!
You have a familiar.
Lovely.
High Note is very pleased to be partnered with
I ask him how Dad is. And
Euphorian, son of Eupolis.
now I've got someone to
You
talk to.
polish
Yep.
What
Sorry.
about you, Sophia? Who are you
The other way
gonna talk
The
to?
pestle.
Yeah, you're going to talk to your
pestle.
I can't
sacred
talk to a
weapon.
pestle. It's just bizarre.
We must find you. We must find you someone to talk to.
Yes. Yes.
You've
That
got
should
the
be
thing,
my
I've got the
quest.
shield.
We've got Cricket, High Note, and Shield is
Gargoyle.
now not even being called.
Maybe we should give him a better name.
Well, I think you're going to
Deception.
you're going to have a different name for him, aren't you? Yeah.
Jerk
Pit
face.
Lord.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Are you ready to
Descend into Avernus.
descend, or at least head to what was his name?
Taxigor.
Taxigor.
Yeah, Taxigor.
Yep.
And what was
Sounds good.
and Lulu?
Taxigor and
The
Lulu.
very
That's
underwhelming
right.
name of Lulu.
All right.
Not at all.
You return to. Oh dear. You return to Silvara, and she says, "Please come with me." And she ushers you to a crescent-shaped landing platform with a stunning view of the sea. Waiting for you atop this platform are several griffins with saddles, their handlers seated nearby to help you. The griffins have instructions to fly you to Traxagor's tower. says Silvara. Don't worry, it's safe.
We're air based.
Wait a sec. Do we need to get anything if we're not coming back?
Yeah.
Do we need to kind of go back to our place and get all our equipment? Otherwise, we're leaving all our equipment here.
Well, I feel
Yeah.
like I was carrying. Well, I mean, I'm. Okay, if you want to, I feel like I was probably carrying like my bedroll,
Alright.
like
As
my
long as we-
usual
as long
amount
as we
of
have
potions
everything.
and
Yeah,
javelins.
I would like to grab a couple of things, but first, griffins. Holy crap! Please continue.
Well, are you ready to take flight?
Not quite.
No,
Okay.
I think we're gonna yeah.
It reminds me of in
Yeah.
a game where they're like, ready
Are
to.
you
Are
sure?
you sure that you're ready to?
Nope.
No. Okay, we'll see you when you come back. We'll just wait here for however long that takes.
All right. What would you like to do?
I'm just gonna get a small list together.
I don't have anything. As long as I have everything from where we were sleeping at the and kind of settling all that debt and everything, then
Yes.
I'm
Yeah, I
done.
just have my usual mess kit, bedroll, potions of healing,
For
all
sure.
of that
Yeah.
kind of junk that I usually carry on my back, and that's all I'd be
Get together and-
needing.
We say farewell to our horses.
Yeah, the horses and the mule are sold to the keep. They're quite happy to take them on. You get 5 gold for them
Even with the pony.
with the pony.
Cool. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab 3 two-person tents, a bunch of 10 pythons, 2 tinder boxes, 3 water skins, and a hammer.
Okay.
Just some basic adventuring, geary type stuff that we haven't really.
And maybe some rations and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great. Let's do some rations as well.
I'll put in. I'll go half these with you.
Thank you.
Have a look at the adventurer's kit.
Yep.
I believe that contains most of the things that you're after,
Okay. Cool.
and a week's worth of rations as well.
Okay. Cool. So I guess maybe it's safe to say that we can do this shopping and then we can figure it out.
Figure it out
we can
afterwards?
just
Yeah.
start on our way now.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So you climb onto the backs of the griffins,
Yeah.
and they take 2 giant bounds and dive off the top of the this sort of platform, and they take flight and head out to sea, flying just below the clouds. Candlekeep looks no less majestic from the air, but grows smaller as the griffins soar westward. Large rocky islands pass below you, and beyond them lies the open sea. After a long journey, you see a windowless, doorless stone tower that somehow floats in the sky ahead. The griffins pass through jagged holes, riddling the tower's conical peak, to land on the top floor below, which has a spiral staircase leading down. And we will take a break there and find out what happens next week.
Sounds good.
Awesome.